Oh, hello, hello. Hey, we are 22 seconds away from starting, so grab some coffee and grab your seat. We are 11 minutes away. Grab your seat. Let's get started.
You take the lead.
8 seconds.
8 seconds.
Tom is here. We can get started. Tom is here. We can get started.
You go here, I'll go here.
No. That was Nate. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
Good morning.
to 1 Million Cups. I am here with Linka Brady,
Hello, everyone.
co-host for today. Linka, you and I are going to do this, right?
I think so.
All right.
I am definitely not Betsy, so take it easy on me.
You take it easy on me because Betsy hits me up pretty hard. Welcome, everybody. Make sure you take out your phones and scan the QR code. All right, Linka, you can talk about scanning the QR code.
Yeah, let's go ahead and check in. We want to let everyone know what an amazing community we are and how we show up every Wednesday to help each other to grow our businesses. My phone is back there. I need to do it as well.
So, Linka,
Yes.
what are we doing? We're signing up with 1 Million Cups.
Yes, that the Kauffman Foundation will let them know how wonderful Clermont business community is, thriving.
And I just got the confetti. So go ahead and do that. That helps us out tremendously. Next slide.
There we go. Love Fast Track business training. I think we'll talk about it later, but if you are still looking to learn something new about business, and it's free of charge, highly recommended. You get these micro lessons from our community leaders about various topics that concern startup businesses. I talked to a couple of newcomers today. Highly recommended, not only that you connect with your fellow community members, business owners, but you truly will learn at least a little bit about specific topics of an interest. So it's a great way to start, and then you can move on and come back to 1 Million Cups and keep learning.
And these are your tax dollars working for you.
Absolutely.
And you can jump into any one of these trainings at
Yes.
any time. And then every 3 months, usually there's another one, correct? Every 6 months. I was off by only 3 months. And this is put on by not only SBDC, by Lake County, by LEAD, and also the Kauffman Foundation.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Lots of great stuff.
Dan is here. We're ready to get started.
Oh, yeah.
Our mission is entrepreneurs helping entrepreneurs. This is what we do, period.
Absolutely. What are the key pillars? So we do not pitch around here. I think most of you have already heard it. We don't sell, we don't pitch. That's not who we are. We're here to help one another. We are here to connect and to really provide support and advice to some of those burning questions that you might not be able to figure out on your own. So those are the core pillars. If you want to do some stuff afterwards, highly recommend it. It's a beautiful community post 1 Million Cups. People come and have lunch here at this beautiful location at the View. And some show up even super early to talk about stuff and business. So put Wednesday, 9 a.m. on your calendar, make it a thing, make it a habit, and be excited to really come and learn and connect with your fellow business owners.
Linka, can I stop you just for a moment?
Yes.
And just say one thing. Are you ready for this?
I guess.
You are doing a great job.
Oh, thank you.
You are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yes.
I
You
appreciate
got this. So, connections, not networking. Connections. And, oh, wait.
Not yet?
Did we do all three of those?
I kind of, sure.
For the community? Yeah, I guess you did.
Yeah. Is it okay?
You did so well.
Pay attention.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you. First timers here, if you're a first timer, raise your hand. Yes, welcome. Tom, your first time?
This is actually my first time here. It's usually Jackie that's here.
Okay, that's right, Jackie.
I popped in to say hi.
What is your name?
My name is William Hatson.
William, welcome. We have William, we have Tom, we have Jose and Kathy? Yes. Yes. Anybody else new for the first time? First time in the back there. What's your name, sir?
Stuart Miller.
Stuart Miller. All right. Did you ever see that movie, Stuart Little? I like that movie, Little Mouse.
Of course you do.
Hang on, before I forget, I will be asking those newcomers, Stuart and Jose and Kathy and William. Perfect. I will be asking you during this entire presentation where you are. You have any questions? We're just going to touch in base with you because at the end we want you all to perform someday. All right? All right. So is there anybody else? No? Good. All right.
Awesome. Let's move on. So what does it look like to present and why we actually do it? Again, remember, we're not pitching. This is not anything that if you want to sell stuff, this is not, 1 Million Cups is not for you. What we do here, we present a little bit about ourselves, a little bit about our business, but the burning question problem that you have in your business that's not allowing you to take your business to the next level or even launch it. So even for those of you, I think, Jose, right? You guys were talking about starting a business and looking for connecting with the business community. This is a great opportunity to start validating your idea. So again, 2 minutes about yourself, 2 minutes about the idea about your business, and then 2 minutes about the problem that you want to solve. And then guess what? This incredible community provides the feedback and answers to help you out. And then with Glenn, our amazing IT expert here, he will send you a synopsis of the presentations. Glenn used some sort of an AI system, right? Beautiful. So you don't have to memorize anything, but you'll have it in your email and you can go through it check by check and see what resonates, what applies, and take it from there.
So basically we're teaching each other how to be better entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
Because many of us are at different levels. You, for instance, have been an entrepreneur for a long time.
A long time, but I'm still so much to learn. There's still so much that I learn every single week because of you guys and your answers that you provide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What's up next? Oh, I guess this is our icebreaker. I get it now.
Yeah, me too. I didn't get it the first time.
What envelope, email, or notification instantly raises your blood pressure? Okay, and this is open for anybody out there. Email, envelope. Linka, I'm gonna ask you first.
Oh, sure. Anything that has the 3 letters IRS on it. Nathan's going to talk about some stuff like this today. But definitely anything that has to do accounting or IRS, don't like it.
No?
No.
I personally do not like any mail, any envelopes. Even if they say, Farmer Bank's Health, like I think maybe there's a check in there. I kind of like those. But I like handwritten stuff. So...
Personal.
Anybody else out there? What else?
Door hangers count, banks?
Anything else, guys? Anyone?
So what makes your blood boil? Nathan, what makes your blood boil?
Clients sending their documents through email.
Oh.
Yeah, that drives me absolutely insane because it's very difficult to keep that documentation for the 7 years that we're required to. And now there's another place that I have to search for their documents if anything ever happens.
All right, so where do we send it to if we don't send it?
We have a portal. So the secure portal, almost every tax preparer has one now. And that's where you should be uploading your documents to.
And I hate to see emails that say, this is a portal, go sign up.
There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
There is a reason.
Security reasons. Anybody out there? Anybody at all?
Dan?
No, Dan, all right.
When your telephone rings, scam likely.
Potential.
There's a lot of those.
Yes, there is a lot of those. Anybody else?
When you get an email in a different language and you didn't ask for it.
Yes, yes.
Because if it's in a different language, that means you're on somebody's email spam list.
Anything from Nigeria?
Yeah,
Hey.
a lot of those.
Yeah, you're Nigerian royalty.
Unexpected text from my bank that somebody charged an amount that I did not approve and unexpected. It happened this week.
Lots of scans. We have another one back here.
So any email, notification, or envelope?
So when on Facebook, when I get something that says it's from Meta Business and it says that I violated copyright,
Really? Yeah, I don't know if I trust those. Should we
no,
trust them,
I think
Nathan?
I think they're all
Oh
spam.
yeah, it's real. No, it is.
No.
A lot of it is real.
I don't think-
My posts were removed.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Meta will only ever contact you through the platform. Any email from them is spam, so do not reply, do not download, do not pass go, and do not collect $100.
Zan? Meta is tough to deal with, though. Oof.
When you're expecting a package and you're subscribed to package delivery notifications, and it says, sorry, but we couldn't deliver your package, or your package was destroyed and they had to send it back and, waste your time. That's usually a fun one.
Sounds like something happened to you recently. Tell me.
All right, one more? No? No? All right, let's get started then. So we have our speaker today. There we go. That
I know,
doesn't work.
It's kind of hard.
Oh,
One more?
this is one notification I really hate.
Right here.
Yeah, I
Right
hate
here.
that notification. Come on. Oh, there we go. Our expert brew today, one of our gurus here at 1 Million Cups, Clermont, Nathan Gauger, and he will talk about a lot of stuff, and he'll be talking for 6 minutes. Welcome, Nathan, to the stage.
Thank you. Awesome. So today, going to primarily focus on, we're getting a lot of intake right now where people are possibly behind, didn't file, just having an issue with the IRS. And kind of my push here is that waiting is not necessarily a good thing, that getting in front of it can save you a lot of money. But if you are choosing to wait or you do have a balance with the IRS, how that actually interacts with your financial portfolio and what you kind of need to know about it. So for those that don't know right now, if you do have a debt with the IRS, which is probably around 30-40% of this room, if I would have to guess, it's about 11 million people, 11 million taxpayers are currently in debt to the IRS. It lands out around 25% of America currently has a debt to the IRS in some form or fashion. And then there's another 15% of people that just haven't accurately filed. Ends up being on those 11 million turned into around $120 billion worth of debt that is going to go on installment plans or be collected in the future. A lot of this is because notices get set aside. You then have penalties and interest that are accruing in the background. Those small balances can really turn into large financial problems. I'm going to try to teach you through this about how those penalties are assessed, and then also what your options are, because once again, ignoring it and hoping it doesn't go away doesn't naturally work with them, and bankruptcy is also not an option with the IRS. So if you've got a lot of other things going on, maybe the IRS should be the first people that you look at. The majority of us are small business owners here, so we go on what are estimated payments. This is a question that I'm currently working through with about 30 people on what should their estimated payments be. So the IRS is going to expect that you prepay your taxes in 4 quarterly estimated payments to accomplish what your tax bill is at the end of the year. There's a couple of rules for this that we need to really be cognizant of. But those dates for payments are going to be April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and January 15th of the year where your taxes are filed. So if you actually add up those dates, it's not really quarterly, it's like 4 months, 2 months. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but that is what in reality happens. And the IRS looks at those as 4 even payments throughout the time period. There are ways that you can make uneven payments. It gets a little bit more complicated to have someone to actually walk through that with, but the idea here is that there are 2 safe harbors that we need to be cognizant of. We need to either pay 90% of our current year tax liability, or we need to pay 100% of our prior year tax liability. That tax liability is going to be mentioned on line 24 of your tax return of what your total taxes are. I don't care what your refund, I don't care what the amount that you owed at the end of the year actually is. Line 24 of your tax return is your total tax. In theory, if you have no other withholding efforts and you have no other credits, you would divide line 24 by 4 and then make 4 even payments. It's truly that simple. So if you are on estimated payments, that's how it's getting calculated in the back end of your tax return. Most important thing here is that we just need to make sure that we're paying 100% of last year's or 90% of the current year. Now for most of you, you're saying, I don't know what I'm going to pay because one, I don't do my own taxes. I probably hire somebody for it. On the other side, you don't know what you're going to make in income this year. Something might happen later in the year. So that's why typically tax preparers will point towards the previous year, and then we'll forecast based on the previous year and move that forward. Now there is a qualifier here. If you are making more than $150,000 a year, that 100% of last year turns into 110% for last year. So whatever that line 24 is, if you're over 150,000 AGI, which is your total income all combined, if you're over 150,000, you multiply line 24 by 110%, and now that would be the payments that we need to make throughout the entire year. The reason why these things happen, self-employed income, 1099 income, right now there's a lot of people that owe at the end of the year, and every single year they owe, even if they're employed, because their W-4s are filled out improperly. Don't need to raise your hands, don't need to self-identify. There's probably 5 to 10 in this room that are employed and literally just have their W-4 filled out improperly, and that's what creates the large tax bill at the end of the year. Estimated payments would, in theory, solve that issue and reduce the penalties. Any questions so far? Let me go back. Just want to make sure that there's not a... Okay, sweet. So for the penalties, what are the penalties? So you have a failure to file penalty. That failure to file penalty is going to be 5% if you choose not to get an extension and you do not file through the proper time period, or you're late filing. 5% of whatever the tax due is. And that will happen 5 times, and the maximum penalty for failure to file is 25% of that tax due. So I'll give you an example. I had a client that $20,000 was owed. Their tax preparer did not file that extension to give them the time. Immediately, they had a 5% penalty on that $20,000 amount owed. They were planning to file in May, in June. They just forgot the extension. That doesn't go away. And that failure to file penalty is accrued every single month. You also have an underpayment penalty. So this is why the estimated payments are important. If you have underpaid your taxes through the year, it's 0.5% per month up to 25%. 0.5% doesn't sound like a lot. Do that for an entire year, that's 6% a year. It adds up very quickly. Whenever you choose not to file for 4 or 5 years, which people are always surprised whenever we talk about those cases, but there are a decent amount of people that have not filed for years and have not gotten a letter from the IRS. Those failure to file and failure to pay penalties add up significantly. And then right now, the interest rate that the IRS has assessed for this quarter is going to be 6%. So in reality, if you have a debt to the IRS and you have no installment agreement, you are currently paying around a 12% interest on whatever your back debt is. It gets really expensive. File on time if you cannot pay in full. Pay what you can as early as you can. If you can put money towards that quicker rather than later, that would be better. The interest does compound daily. The penalties are assessed monthly. So it's kind of weird there. And then the rates do change quarterly. It's based on the Fed rate, primarily for how the IRS charges. So that interest rate was very low a couple of years ago. it got a little bit higher, over the past couple of years. So there's choices if you are behind, which I know this is helping many people in this room just understanding what your choices are. Paying the IRS now, they're not accepting checks. I don't know how many of you guys are sending checks into the IRS. They will get rejected. You will just get a they did not process. You have to now pay online. This is part of a new push that the IRS is making where they're not allowing you to send checks in. So please, irs.gov/payments. That's where you're going to make payments to. You can also log into your IRS online account, and you can see what you currently owe from past periods, current periods, and understand your wage and income transcript. From there, you can also view balances and make payments. Most people, I'm not going to mention EFTPS. Almost nobody is going to use EFTPS in this room. Debit and credit card payments, those are allowable. Keep in mind that the interest rate that we're kind of talking about with the IRS is around 12%. Credit card interest is much higher. My one caveat to that is if you're planning on going bankrupt, IRS debt probably is not going to get discharged. So if you owe 100 grand to the IRS, probably going to owe 100 grand to the IRS if you go bankrupt, whereas credit card debt could be seen as dischargeable. Installment agreements will decrease that monthly penalty of 0.5%. It'll move it down to 0.25%, I believe is the current number. Make sure you check that. But that's why it's important to be on an installment agreement if you do have a prior debt and not just making random periodic payments. That installment agreement can be set up for 6 years in many cases, where you can slowly pay the IRS that debt. The IRS is not as concerned with your back debt as long as you have a plan moving forward to pay that back debt. If you're on an installment agreement, they're really happy with you. And I have many clients that have made those installment agreements for 5, 10 years, and now they're clear. The IRS is more concerned about you moving forward. So those estimated payments, and this is going to be counterintuitive to how most people think, we're going to focus on estimated payments and moving forward if we're already on an installment agreement. And if you're moving forward and in good situation with the IRS, you're not in the back debt to them, obviously a better thing. And then probably the most common thing that comes to me is, oh, the IRS is just going to forgive my debt through an offer in compromise. So if you owe a significant amount to the IRS and you're not capable of paying it today, you could look at an offer in compromise. We don't do these. I don't want to do these. The one caveat here is if you have any assets, retirement accounts are going to be added to that. Houses are going to be added to that. Cars are going to be added to that. If you have any assets to your name, the IRS is going to expect that you're using those assets to pay them. I don't feel like that's a confounding, point. But it's very common where we have people that have multiple rental properties that have equity in them. They're like, oh, I owe 100 grand in back debt. Can we do an offer in compromise? They go send it in through a random tax mill, and they find out that the IRS rejects them because they have these rental properties that they have equity in that they can get a HELOC or something to pay off that debt. So offer in compromise is more for people that were making a lot of money, weren't compliant, accrued a significant amount of debt, and now are poor or have had something happen to them where they literally don't have the ability to pay, and that payment would create a significant issue within their life. That's what an OIC is for. So general ideas here, and I tried to make this as short and sweet as I possibly could, hoping just to get the knowledge out there. Filing on time, we want to avoid that failure to pay penalty or failure to file penalty. Get an extension out there. The IRS does not care if you extend. There's a reason that they have automatic extensions available to you that will avoid the failure to file penalty so long as now you file towards that extension time. Paying earlier reduces the balance subject to interest. That's pretty obvious. Payment plans will reduce your penalties and also will get them off of your back. And then responding to notices, please, whenever you receive an IRS notice, don't just throw it away. There's usually a reason. It's usually not wrong. I know that sounds weird. Just had a client that told me that he threw away 3 notices that they had received, and now they just levied his bank account, and he has no way to get that off. There are options so long as you're receiving notices. And then a small action now can significantly prevent a later cleanup. So, thank you. I appreciate the time.
Nathan Gauger, everyone. As I call him, Yoda.
A try.
So what would be your Star Wars character that you relate to the most?
Ooh, I don't know if there's a Star Wars character that's just wants the ethical good and like helping people move people forward. Like, I don't.
You are the Force.
I just, I would rather. I just hate people seeing people spend all of their money with the IRS because they choose not to ask the questions. It's not about avoiding taxes or tax avoidance. It's just understanding a little bit of this and understanding how things work can significantly change someone's entire financial portfolio.
Nathan, it is quite complicated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And basically, the bottom line is, you want us to file on time or early, correct? Sure. Eliminate all of these issues that we have.
Or get an extension. If you know that you're going to be filing late, or you don't have enough time to file by April 15th, get an extension. Because the extension, it's free. They were developed for a reason. It's for people that have things that need a little bit more time to go and create everything, the organization to file.
Procrastinators, right?
Maybe procrastinators. There's also K1s that might come out. Maybe you have a business and the accountant doesn't have enough time. Like, we don't run a lot of extensions ourselves through our firm, but imagine if you had 1,200 clients and your tax preparer was spending 1 hour on every single one of those returns. It's probably not in a good place. Whereas if they were spending 3 or 4 hours and they had extra time throughout the entire year and they did things properly, an extension would give them that additional time.
Got it.
That's the majority of it.
Yeah, we're opening, go ahead.
Nathan is incredibly knowledgeable, and I can tell you this, every Wednesday he shows up early. He's sitting right there, and he is like a library of IRS stuff. So if you guys have any questions, anything that you want to discuss with him one-on-one, I know from personal experience he will take the time to help you research it, get back to you. So use him as a resource. He literally is here every single Wednesday, and he's an amazing person to talk to. Very humble, amazing person to talk to. So definitely use his knowledge.
So if you have any questions, anybody out there have any questions about his presentation, and this was Expert Brew, so you're an expert on this.
Yeah. General individual taxation, business taxation for small businesses. Yeah, and obviously don't self-identify yourself if you have a significant issue going on. It's a friend of yours that has that problem. But yeah, I would love if there is any questions that I could answer specifically about this or even something different.
I have a friend that has way too much money.
I'm not an investment advisor. I can steer towards taxes.
Anybody out there like to ask him any questions at all? Lincoln, what about you with your nonprofit business?
Well, we just filed, so we're waiting for the 501c3 for young founders. So definitely there may be some opportunities going forward, but I'm just waiting for the IRS to actually accept the application.
Sure.
So we put it all together and fingers crossed.
But I mean, that's a good point. From your preparer every single year, you should be getting the filed tax return. You should also be getting the acknowledgments. And that is a very weird word that you guys have probably never heard. The acknowledgments are proof that you actually filed the return. So if you don't have acknowledgments, you don't have proof that you filed the return. There's currently a tax court case from in 1993 through 1999. A guy paid a tax preparer to prepare his tax returns. And the IRS is currently in a court case with him right now saying we never received those tax returns. So he owes, I think it's around $250,000 from 1993 to 1999, that because he never filed a tax return, he is going to pay that. here in the next couple of weeks. And his reliance was that he paid a tax preparer. He can prove that he paid a tax preparer. Right now, the IRS and him are fighting over whether paying a tax preparer accomplishes your duty of filing a tax return. And that is the current court case.
So who is in charge of the fiduciary tax filings? Is it the tax preparer or is it the individual?
So the weird thing is that the IRS doesn't care if you hire a tax preparer.
Really?
That is not a qualification or a defense. If you actually look at the failure to file and the reasonable causes for failure to file, it legitimately says using a tax preparer is not reasonable cause. Like that is on the front page. So that's why I'm kind of identifying these acknowledgments as a very important part is we have many people that are coming to us right now getting letters saying that they're 3 or 4 years behind because the IRS stopped sending letters about that during COVID.
Right.
So now they're beginning back and these individuals have no proof. And there's a couple of local tax preparers that have been hacked around here and lost all of their data. So we have no defense.
So how many years of tax, not I-9s, whatever, the W-9 forms, how many years do we hang on to our tax forms?
So there are tax reasons, and typically that statute of limitations is going to fully end around 7 years unless you've intentionally committed tax fraud or your preparer has. The average person, they'll go back 3 years. If you're accurately filing, that's usually the statute of limitations, so long as there's not significant issues. But there are legal issues why you keep your tax returns as well. So, and I'll give you an example. Client with a rental, there was a child, a baby, that had been in a household that had lead mitigation done to it. So they used to paint with lead a while ago. The tax returns would have showed the expenses towards the lead mitigation happening prior to that child moving in. The child now has cancer, and upon turning 18, that is his first ability to legally sue the individual that owned the rental. So because they had thrown away the tax returns about 6 months prior, they had no defense towards the actual lead mitigation that they performed in the house, and therefore are liable for the cancer diagnosis of the child.
And they can't go back to the IRS and ask them for what they filed?
So what the IRS receives and sends to you is different than what you are going to actually file with them, which I know that sounds weird. So unless you paper file, the IRS is going to provide a transcript. And a really good way to see this, if you log into your IRS online account, you can get a tax return transcript. And it's going to look really weird. It's not going to look like a tax return. Everybody in this room can do this. But it's not the information that would show that level of detail. And they need that level of detail.
Nathan, what is the one way that we can verify that our taxes have been filed, providing that we are solely responsible, even though we hire someone to do our taxes?
Acknowledgements are the best way to see that the preparer has filed it. IRS online account, and then you're looking at the account transcript.
An acknowledgement, what is that?
Acknowledgements is, so the IRS is going to acknowledge that they saw something.
How do we get that?
That is, so your tax preparer and the tax software would generate that. So the tax preparer should be providing you that. The IRS, and to my ability, the only thing that I can do is send the return to the IRS. It is now the IRS's job to process. I cannot make the IRS process. I cannot do anything to the IRS. The IRS, because I've sent something to them, acknowledges that they received something. And those acknowledgements is the only thing that I receive in order to say, I filed, and my obligation's done.
Is it automatic once you submit it? Is the reply, the acknowledgement, automatic that can be forwarded to the person you're doing taxes for, or do we have to physically request it?
From the federal side, those acknowledgments usually come in within 24 hours. If it's towards processing day, they usually come in 20 or 30 seconds if it's outside of that. For states, it's a little bit different. States have slower processing engines on the back end. So they might take, like New Jersey has more issues than just their tax. Their processing system typically takes 7 to 10 days. The IRS also had an issue with payments this year. So you sent in payments, and we had multiple payments that were sent in at the very last day of the year. Their processing engine couldn't catch up because they were processing so many. So they actually got drafted on like the 20th or the 23rd. Having the acknowledgments on that 15th, on the 15th of filing day, is going to be proof that you actually made payment, even though that payment wasn't sent until the 23rd.
Yeah.
And people
Wow.
are getting letters for that right now.
So Florida is not an income tax state.
We do not have individual income tax.
Okay. So what do we have in the state of Florida?
You have tangible personal property tax. So that is a tax on tangible property which you hold within your business.
Rental property, machinery.
Rental gets a little bit weird. There's some caveats to rentals. Some counties, it's assessed by the county, but primarily what we are looking at is machinery, your keyboard, your computer, your chairs, your desk, those things which are tangible, which just means that they're essentially not real and they're not intangible. So they're things that you can hold that you utilize. And that is probably less than 20% of people file that tax return from what we've seen. It's small and has an exemption. It's kind of really easy to do. And then you also have corporate tax that's here. So that is the other big one that most people in this room won't encounter.
For the state. Got it. So I'm just putting down here, why is this so complicated?
Lobbyists, people.
Blame it on the lobbyists.
I mean, it's truly like, I don't like doing taxes. I think I've said that 100 times. Like, this is the least favorite part of my job, but it's so misunderstood that this is where I can help people the most. And that's why I choose to do it, is because it's confounding and it's not, it's something that we just help people through. But yeah, I would say the majority of it is lobbyists. It's special interests. The deductions that you see are because the government wants to incentivize people to perform things. They want people to buy a house. They want people to invest in the local economies. And so some spending is advantaged, whereas personal spending is not advantaged for tax purposes. So they want you to invest in businesses to grow and provide economic commerce.
Right. I see. But it's so complicated. I mean.
Yep. Every single day I learn something new. Every single day I figure out that I know nothing about taxes. And yeah, I made a LinkedIn post about this, but like as you learn taxes, you figure out that you don't know taxes, and then you find that there's a lot of people that claim that they understand taxes, and really they just know nothing about taxes. And it's like this
dog
circular,
chasing its tail.
Yes.
Right.
So it's a problem.
So tax preparers, most of us come in contact with a tax preparer.
Yep.
All right? How do we make sure that we get an acknowledgement from the IRS, from them, so we don't go through this issue that's in the court system now?
You ask them. If they aren't providing it to you, you need to ask them for the acknowledgments. So that most will provide it to you. There's about 10 preparers down here that most of their clients don't realize that the 1040 that they filed is not what they need. That's not the important component. So yeah.
And how do we get the acknowledgement? Is it an email? Is it a text? Is it a letter in the mail?
It should be a piece of paper that the tax preparer would print out and hand to you.
Okay.
So literally it's or it could be uploaded to you if
It's not the receipt that you paid them for the.
No. It's like it's a 40-digit code that, like, and I don't know if it might be 32 digits. It's probably 32 based on how computers work. But
Have
Right.
you ever received one of these things? The acknowledgement? Anyone? You have? Okay. And me neither. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen
Excellent
one
information.
myself.
Thank you.
extremely important
Yeah.
to get your acknowledgments and prove that your tax return was filed.
Another acknowledgement would be a refund, correct?
It's not going to be a legal acknowledgement.
Really?
Yep.
I mean, okay, but by getting a refund put right into my checking account, let's say, is saying, the IRS is saying, we paid you too much, or you paid too many taxes, we're going to give you money back.
You'd be surprised how often the IRS loses the processing of a form from the past, and the refund will identify that something had been filed, but you can also file an 843 and get a refund. So you don't have to file your tax return to receive money from the IRS. And if they lose it, that acknowledgement is going to be your proof. So it's a weird spot.
Right.
We don't see a ton of them.
Let me ask people here, how many here are a small business by hands, small business, and use tax preparers for their own businesses? All right, about a half of you.
Yeah, I learned the hard way about the acknowledgement. I had a tax preparer several years ago, walked me through my business return. And I said, it's fine. Oh, yep, it's been filed. And then I got a notice from the IRS, something to do with a payroll, because I payrolled myself. So I thought everything was fine. 18 months later, when I had to pull reports because I was applying for a loan, they said I never filed. So even though you get a communication about that year, it still isn't proof that you filed. And then they wanted to charge me $2,800, but thankfully my current CPA knew that you could ask for a one-time abatement.
First time.
And they
penalty
forgave that $2,800, so I got lucky.
So that's a good point. First time penalty abatement, if you have a clean filing history, which is why I'm educating people about estimated payments, because you got $2,800 cleared from your account. If you had a $2 penalty within the past 3 years, you would not have qualified. So having clean tax history, understanding the rules in which you have to actually run, makes a failure to file penalty on what was probably a partnership, a single member S Corp is probably what it was, because that would have been the failure to file on that specific return is $2,800. That's what clears the failure to file penalty, is the first time penalty abatement.
Nathan, how many extensions can we ask for?
So there's one extension that's automatic.
Okay.
An extension does not alleviate your need to pay. It alleviates the need to file. You still have to make your payment April 15th. If you cannot file within that 6-month period, which for a normal individual would be 10/15 on a 6-month extension, then there is ways to ask for additional extensions. That's a little bit more complicated of a process, and that's really a discussion with the IRS. For the majority of people, it's a 4868 is the extension filing. They're very easy. If you do send them to the IRS, please send them certified. Don't send them through snail mail. We had some people send some checks last year where the IRS did not process them until 3 months after. They took the money, but then they said that they received them 3 months after. I don't know how that works. If you guys can figure that out for me, please let me know, because I'd love. But if you take the money in April and then they say that it was taken in July, feels weird.
Did they hang on to the checks until then, or did they deposit them
No,
in
they
April?
took it out of the bank. They just said that they didn't receive them until July.
Oh.
Yeah. Those people got assessed some pretty large penalties, and because they did not send it certified, they had no proof of the date in which they mailed it. So July, even though they didn't have their money in April, was the date that they paid.
Nice.
Some very
Nice.
weird things.
Are there any other questions? We got just a couple more minutes with Nathan. Anything? No? All right. Nathan, what can we do as a community to help you?
My biggest focus, go talk to your tax preparer. It doesn't need to be me. I'm not coming up here as a sales pitch. I'm just tired of seeing people pay the IRS. Go talk to your tax preparer. Ask for planning. Ask if there's anything that you can do better. If you're an S corporation, please, reasonable compensation. If you have an S corporation, please go look that up on ChatGPT. Stop playing the game. It's bad. Go look it up. We're getting letters right now from people that are not paying reasonable compensation. They're revoking the S election. People are losing their businesses actively. because they did not pay reasonable compensation as an S corporation. And if you need to fix that issue, rcreports.com is a really good solution. And know your tax preparer, if you don't know about that, they did not have the conversation. And if they are only engaged for tax preparation, they are not going to teach you things past specifically tax preparation. They're not going to teach you how to do better.
Right, right. And if anybody wants to talk to you, you're here early.
I'm back there.
You're here late also? Later?
I don't normally,
Sometimes?
I usually have meetings afterwards, so I get out of here pretty quick after. But yeah, you can come in and hang out in the mornings.
And we can pull you aside and go, hey, listen, that friend is me. Can you help me with this?
If there's a need for a private conversation, we'll move to a back table.
Perfect.
But
Right.
usually there's 6 or 7 people in here early. Happy to talk to you.
Nathan Gauger, everyone. You guys are special because he wore pants today. Nathan Gauger, everyone. Nathan, thank
What
you
does
so
that
much.
mean?
I know I dressed up.
He wore pants today. I'm used to seeing his legs.
He wears shorts?
Yeah, he wears shorts all the
I
time.
wasn't sure where you were going with that. You threw me off.
You want to talk about the community brew?
Yeah,
This is something
sure.
new we're trying.
Yeah. So, because we don't have an actual speaker today, which is an invitation to all of you guys to submit, to come and present so we can have healthy conversations about your business obstacles and challenges. We will be doing our very first community brew, which means we will have a collaborative conversation about a topic that we have selected for today. And
Did we pick a topic?
yeah.
Oh, we did.
It's the next slide. Look
Okay.
at this. It's a good one. It's something very, very, very dear to my heart. Solo founder survival, managing burnout, time, and energy. Solopreneurs, raise your hand. Entrepreneurs, raise your hand.
And the difference between the two is entrepreneurs manage lots of people or more than one?
So really, solopreneur is like you're just the only one in your business, right? You do it all. You do it all. Usually startups are. As an entrepreneur, you've already created a community around you. So you may have perhaps employees, you may have perhaps 1099s, but you already have some sort of community, people, team that is working with you. That's probably the biggest difference. But let's talk about managing burnouts and how you are dealing with it. This is not a lecture. I am an NLP coach, which means neuro-linguistical programming, which means it's basically the language of the brain. So burnout and dealing with them, it's something that I actually do for a living, even though I am not a coach that only specializes on that. I work with kids and also business owners on helping them deal with these burnouts and recognizing the signs and symptoms. So today, we'll have this chat about you guys and how we can help you manage and prevent burnouts from happening when you're starting a business.
Okay, so let me just make sure I'm clear. You are a solopreneur or not? Or are you an entrepreneur? Because
I am an entrepreneur.
I'm an entrepreneur. I have
Yeah,
a team of about
yeah.
15, 20
Yeah, you
of
have
us.
people that you rely to that do a little bit of, social media, digital marketing, business development, right?
Right. Which is great if you're an entrepreneur because you can delegate.
Yeah.
And delegating, is that an issue that you all have? Is delegating your work to other people?
Because you feel like you can do it yourself in the same amount of time you can explain it.
It's
Go-
hard,
go
right?
ahead.
It's the time, it's the frustration that comes with it.
Yeah, it's because there is a point between being self-employed and being an entrepreneur or being a business owner, and it took me a lot of years to figure that out. My dad was self-employed. He was a contractor, and he just did what he did. And so for a lot of years, I was a solopreneur, and I did 9/10 of everything. And it's hard to break that. It's hard to then just say, okay, I really need to explain it to this person and cut them loose and let them go do so I can go do something else over here. And it's a constant battle. And you're right. Once you do everything yourself, you do get to that burnout. Sidebar question. Is it 1 or 10 that's burnout? How does
On
your
a
scale
of-
work?
That's a good one, right? How close burnout do you feel? 10, I am like exhausted. I can't think straight. 1 is like, I'm fine. Just the daily challenge. So on a scale from 1 to 10, where are you guys right now?
William.
Well,
I can speak for myself. I'm probably at about a 9, a 9.5.
Burnout?
I cried in the car this morning. I cried in the car this morning. I do content, I have to do content for the business. I'm a one-man army. So I not only have to do the content to promote my products, I have to then go and make the products. Then I have to go deliver the products, and I have to source everything. And I came here on my knuckles right now.
So let me ask you this real quickly.
Yeah.
Have you thought about AI, or is AI something that could help out William? Anybody?
I currently use it. I currently use it to do my new menus and different things. I'm sure I can incorporate more of it, but without AI, I wouldn't even be doing the things that I'm able to do right now.
Right.
I'd like to chime in on that. The crying and feeling desperation and like you don't know how to lift your foot and put in front of the other. Who's been there? I have many times. I want you to normalize it and know that it's part of the game. It does not make you any different from anyone that has decided to build a business. If it was easy, we would all be doing it. What I would love for you guys to recognize today is the fact that the burnout is there for one specific reason. A is to stop and slow down everything you're doing and take a moment for yourself. The moment for yourself where you actually thank yourself for getting yourself to this point, number one, how brave you are and amazing and all the accomplishments that you've made so far. And then the second half of it is to recognize that the sign that you're being sent, your body's telling you, I can't anymore, it's pivot time. The pivot time is to realize what is draining your energy, what is too much, and put that aside or delegate to others. And then keep on going, knowing that you've got yourself all the way here. I'm feeling it, and it's okay. It's part of the game. So I'm recognizing the signs and symptoms. Maybe one day I'm going to take a break, walk away from everything, because it'll be there tomorrow. Relax, go outside, get some fresh air, happy thoughts. And then the next day when you're refreshed, look at your task list and realize what is it that's truly burning you down the most. What is that one thing you can take away from your heavy schedule and find a way to delegate it to someone else?
So let's find out right now. What is?
Yeah.
William, you have the mic. What is draining you right now?
The one thing that you could select, one.
Capital, cash flow.
Okay.
The sales, the money's just not matching the motion. I got a hot buzz, but I woke up, my bank account's negative. This type of stuff. Now I got to get out and go hunt.
Right.
I got 2 kids. I got a family to feed, different type of stuff. And then I still got to do this business that requires, my time. And
Right.
I'm 54. Like I'm not doing it as a young person.
Right. Who else what is draining?
Well, it's not necessarily what's draining me, but as far as being able to delegate, what I do as Action Pack, I build and design stunt equipment that people's lives depend on. I stunt coordinate. I do things that if it's not done right, people die. And it's really hard for me to turn that over to somebody else when the potential downside is death. And and when you're working with a piece of equipment and somebody else is doing it with doing what they're doing with your piece of equipment, if it malfunctions, if something goes wrong, people get hurt, people die, and it's not something you can just lightly blow off.
Is that causing a burnout for you?
The thing that's causing the burnout for me is just having to do everything. Having to do the website, having to do the marketing, having to do the training, and the everything that I'm doing. It's just a lot.
So on those lists, right there,
Yeah.
you have the core functions that you must do yourself at this point. So put those in a bucket, and then the other stuff that potentially you can start delegating, and you can both, you've presented already, you haven't yet, you can present your business up here to get some feedback from the community to help you through some of those challenges. This is a perfect opportunity to get feedback and advice.
Well, then it boils down to what he just said, cash flow. I have to pay somebody to do that stuff. And
But
if you
there
don't have
are
the money to
ways,
pay
there are
somebody to do that
ways.
stuff, then you're just kind of stuck. You can't, you've got to do it yourself because you can't pay anybody else to do it.
There are incentives, equity,
Yeah.
profit share.
Yeah. And people look at that and go, nope, I want money now. And what do? How do you get people motivated to back you up? I had a prime, example. I was trying to set up a stunt driving facility, and all I needed was for some salespeople to come in and pre-sell the seats. And I had a list of 200 people ready to put the money down and come take the class, but I needed them to pay up front so I could, take care of the money to secure the location, get the vehicles built, do the things that needed to be done. Couldn't get a single salesperson to sit down and make a phone call, and I was going to pay them, pretty substantially on a commission, but they wanted money up front, or they said they would do it and then didn't show up.
One of the
Commitment,
things
yeah.
about delegating is you need to trust the person.
Yeah.
And that comes with relationships, that comes
Yeah.
with understanding. In fact, within our core of volunteers, the team that puts on this right here, there's you, there's me, there's
Jackie,
Betsy.
Monica,
Yeah,
Betsy.
there's all these people
Harry.
that we are helping each other out. And that trust goes beyond just this room. It goes
Yeah.
to your business, to my business, to everybody's business, which that's tough to do. I mean, you talked about trust a few
It takes a
weeks
very,
ago.
very long time, right, to build it. And so micro steps, micro tasks, not anything big, overwhelming that people will say, I can't do all of this for you for nothing. Micro tasks, right? Chop it all down. Anyone else,
Nathan in the
anything
back.
that's burning you out right now?
I might answer the question that's up there. So we had a lot of issues with people calling. We're a virtual office. We don't want people to call us, if I'm being completely honest. I just prefer you to go to the website. People would call us consistently, want to have a conversation, then want to sit down in person, and there was a control aspect of that they just wanted to be in control of their life, and that's what they're used to. We ended up having to hire someone specifically to answer phone calls, and we literally sit them at a desk for 40 hours a week with the intent of answering phone calls. And that was where I was getting burnt out because I thought I was failing people. I literally had to hire for that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, that took cash flow. Yes, that took...
Cash flow is always a big one. But you know what? You said a really big word, control. As an entrepreneur, you don't have control over so many things that are happening to you, right? And losing that control, you can only impact and affect so much. So as the burnout is as you're feeling it, I actually had it this past weekend, the blackout and not being able to think and like totally exhausted. It's really sitting down and going back to the core of your business and the why. Why did you start it? What really truly matters to you? Aligning that with your core values. As we are building business, we keep adding things and this and that and this and that, and you might find yourself sometimes kind of swaying away from your core vision for the business, which means you've added all these unnecessary layers to your business that are not helping you achieve your goal. So go back to the basics. When you're feeling this overwhelm, go back to the basics. Strip down all the stuff that is not necessary right now to create your core foundation, the systems and operations, and obviously to start seeing the revenue. Move all of the other stuff aside and align it back, go back to the basics. What can I control right now? What is manageable right now? Everything else will wait. Doesn't mean that you can abandon it. Just, it can wait. Put it on a shelf.
Right. Right. Linka, one thing that happened, and William, thank you so much for sharing, and John, thank you so much for sharing, is that we became vulnerable and shares what works, what doesn't work. Even Nathan in the back. And that's one principle of 1 Million Cups, is that we have to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
We have to open up and say, hey, I need help. Can
Ask
anybody
for
help me
help.
with that?
Yeah.
Now, with being vulnerable, I'll let you know this. We have 20 seconds to take a photo.
My goodness.
We're at that point right now at
Okay.
the end. Go ahead.
Well, take a photo.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna take a photo. Any other closing statements, anything at all? Guys, normalize burnout. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Know that it happens, and when it does, ask for help and go back to basics and see what's truly important to you, okay? Photo, where do we have?
Right here.
Nathan, can you come up here? So we can have you in the front. Come on, come on, come on.
All right, everyone. Those that are new, it's this pointer finger right here. Yes, put it up as in 1 million cups. Yep. There we go. And that's Sai. He's our photographer. And we have
One more selfie.
Yep.
Go take a seat over there.
All right, everybody. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Beautiful.
All right, we'll see you all next week.
Thank
We're
you,
going to
guys.
be here.
We need presenters. Please apply to present. We would love to have you. Will you apply? Awesome.